Breaking news, Kurt!
What is it, Sam?
Former NFL MVP Cam Newton has reached an agreement on a 1-year incentive-laden deal with the
New England Patriots.
Insane.
I know the Patriots just lost Brady. And Brady, is the greatest quarterback of all time. No question. But Cam Newton, that's an interesting step.
It is. So how are you feeling about it?
Okay, so personally, I love his fit on the Patriots. I have my concerns, and I'm sure we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah.
What do you think personally?
A lot of people I know were hating on Jarrett Stidham, and I guess that's necessarily okay because of what his performance looked like against New York and the Jets. But I think that when you look at what's, Stidham only playing that game and his sample size being so small, is it okay for us and for the sports audience to make, an assumption about him when we haven't really seen his fullest potential per se?
Yeah.
And I think that I was really invested and intrigued to see how he would have done in the 2020 season, because if we look at what happened in the draft, a lot of people thought that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots were going to take a quarterback in the draft, but they didn't. And it showed to me that they really believed in Jarrett Stidham and they were willing to rock with him for 2020. But with the news we just, that you just presented us with, and that Cam Newton is now a New England Patriot, I run the question on, okay, did they fully trust Stidham? Like, are they now going to go all in with Cam Newton? Did they think they were going to get Cam for some time now? That's why I'm still a little bit confused. I was excited to see Stidham, but obviously seeing the 2015 MVP come back into the league and play for the Patriots, I'm super excited. And to see him fit with Bill Belichick, I'm excited. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
I do think it's a real possibility that Jarrett Stidham actually starts.
Oh, me too.
I think the reason being is because he's been in the system longer. He's actually been in the off-season meetings so far, because I don't think there's meetings anymore until training camp starts.
Yeah.
So he's actually been in those. Cam Newton has not. So I think Jarrett Stidham starting early on is a very real possibility. And I never really thought the Patriots were going to take a quarterback in the draft. I thought they were for sure always going to ride with Stidham. I never really thought the Patriots would be interested in someone like Herbert or Jordan Love.
Yeah.
They both make massive mistakes. They need guys who are really smart and know how to read pre-snap and post-snap. The only guy I really think they had a chance of taking was Tua, and that was only if he fell.
Yeah.
Because he fits them so perfectly.
Yeah.
But that was never really a possibility.
You were right. And one other thing I want to say about Stidham is I don't want people to be shocked if he's really impressive in training camp. And I think that, I don't want people to have this negative narrative on Jarrett Stidham. And when training camp and the regular season comes around and you're hearing positive things, I don't want people to be surprised by that.
So what my thing with Cam on the Patriots is this. I love his fit there, and I think they got a steal of a contract with him. It's a minimum deal with incentives to, I think, $7.5 million if he plays well. And that's a steal of a contract if you ask me.
Right.
He's a former MVP. You're giving Cam the freedom to do things he never got to do in Carolina. Carolina's offense restricted him so much. In the Patriots offense, they're actually going to give him freedom at the line of scrimmage to actually change calls and adjust formation so they can spread out the defense, so he can actually give his guys ample opportunity. My main concern is his injury history, because in the past, I have actually the stats. So in the past 3 years, he's had 2 shoulder surgeries and a broken foot surgery, which is crazy. And you definitely saw it in his play within these past 2 years.
Right.
His throwing motion was completely fucked up. I think the broken foot had a lot to do with it in 2019, because he really couldn't step up in the pocket that well, because he's going onto his left leg and he's trying to take weight off his left leg. And he's also 0-8 in his last 8 games as a starter.
Well, because I want people to realize this, and this isn't meant to be a bash towards Newton, and it probably will come off as it is. But when people look at what he was doing in the first 2 games in 2019, the 2 games that he played, he was not good. Like,
No,
and
not
I
at
think
all.
I would expect that trend to continue. I wouldn't expect like week 3 for him to just like show up and have a monster 2019 year. And I think that, you know, the Panthers, that's like, they were obviously looking at those 2 games and they're like, okay, you know, this injury concern and how he was playing in the first 2 games, are we willing to kind of rock with him in 2020? And obviously the end decision was no, they're not willing to rock with him. So I think that that's a major thing, because we look at 2019 and we look at those first 2 games, watch the film, anyone who's confused by it, he was not good at all. And I think that, you know, yes, he was dealing with an injury, but is that going to happen in 2020? Are we going to see that Cam Newton? Or are we going to see a healthy and energetic, almost similar to a 2015 Cam Newton that's going to be in New England?
I think 2015 Cam is long gone. But
Right.
So Cam in his last like couple of games he played, he was under a 60% completion percentage, which is horrible. That's horrible for a starting quarterback.
Right. And one thing I want to add on is, like, when he's healthy, and I think people need to realize, and I know that we both know this, when he's healthy, phenomenal
He's
player.
one of the best in the game, yeah.
Right. And it's just so, and we've seen this from so many players throughout NFL history. If he can just stay healthy,
Yeah.
it makes all the difference. It's just, am I willing to put my trust in a quarterback who has shown injuries in the past?
He was supposed to be fully healthy last year when he came back. But the thing is, I'm really intrigued to see. So you know how Belichick's whole thing is that what he does is he takes players' strengths and he maximizes the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I want to know what he does with a mobile quarterback like Cam
Yeah.
Newton, because he's never really had that at all.
Right. And that's what I was going to get to, is Cam Newton, Tom Brady could be kind of the most opposite players you could think of.
It is.
So, you know, we could be like, I'm not saying this is going to happen by any means, but wouldn't it be just so funny that, you know, we saw 6 rings with Tom Brady and Belichick, and now Belichick's with a completely different quarterback, and he continues the success with Cam Newton. I mean, that would just prove that Bill Belichick is by far the best coach of all time. So I'm super excited to see, like you said, how he's going to maximize Cam Newton's talent.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it could really just completely make this team so much better than it looked to be, or they just aren't. And the worst case scenario is Cam sucks still. He hasn't fully recovered, or he's just never going to be the same that he always was, or that he was. But then you just start Stidham.
Right.
So-
I mean, literally the worst case scenario is you play Jarrett Stidham, who I am, and I don't know about you, but I don't know if super high is the right word, but I think could be a very good quarterback in the National Football League.
I mean, I like Stidham. I think he'll be a really good career backup. But if anyone can make him a starter,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
it's Bill Belichick. So let me just ask you this. What are your projections for the AFC East now? Because I think most people had the Bills winning it, which I agree with. But does Cam alter your standings in any way? Because I don't remember what you had the Pats going before this. What did you have them going?
Before I had the Pats going 8-8.
Okay.
And I think maybe I could see 9-7. I don't really see, honestly, like a game or like 2 games better. And I think that I still, for me, have the Bills win the division. I think at 10-6 is where I put them at. So my AFC East projections as of right now would be Bills 10-6, Patriots 9-7. I was always pretty high on the Patriots, even with Stidham and that incredible defense that they have. And I think that, yes, Cam Newton can make him a game changer, but I don't have them passing the Bills on the standings. I still have them falling in that, 2 spot. And I definitely think that if you're at a 9-7 record, you can obviously make the playoffs. And I think that maybe we can look at an instance where they go 10-6, but for me, I have them at 9-7, probably being a wild card team.
I think they definitely could win the East. I don't think it'd be a shocker if they did, because, it's the damn Patriots.
Right.
They've been on top for like the past 2 decades. So I still would lean Buffalo because I think Buffalo, as of right now, on paper, are the more complete roster.
I would agree.
The Patriots lost a lot of defensive pieces in free agency, but they still got that amazing secondary. So honestly, who cares?
Yeah.
It's their offense that kind of concerns me a little because their offensive line isn't amazing. It's not that great, and that's kind of what hurt Cam in Carolina for so much of his career. I just think the offensive arsenal around him isn't that great either. He has no tight end at all. The wide receivers are Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry. Who else is there? I honestly don't know who else is in that wide receiver room. Their running back group isn't bad. I love James White as a Wisconsin fan, obviously.
Yeah.
He's a great pass catching back. And then Sony Michel wasn't amazing.
I mean, if we get any sort of Sony Michel we saw its rookie year, then
yeah. I'm going to lean Bills for right now.
Right. And like I was saying earlier in the video, like if you give me some time in a couple of days to kind of think this out, maybe I'll have Patriots over them. But as of today, when we're recording this, I have the Buffalo Bills.
It's more of those things where I think internal development really is the most thing that's being relied on for the Pats. If their players internally develop really well, I think they could 100% win the AFC East. It's just a matter of, can the Bills offense put it together?
Yeah.
And make it one of the best, or it just needs to be a solid offense because that defense is spectacular.
Right.
And I don't think the Dolphins are coming anywhere near the top 2 seeds. And the Jets, if they trade Jamal Adams, they're screwed. I think he's so the Jets defense needs Jamal Adams, and their defense was the main reason why they were in games last year and went 7-9. So that's kind of my take on how the Patriots will finish. And they could certainly win the East, but because they're playing the NFC West and the AFC West this year.
Right.
Those are the toughest divisions in both conferences. Yeah, you got any final thoughts on Cam to the Pats at all?
No, I mean, I think that obviously getting some sort of NFL news is very exciting, and I'm super excited to see Cam Newton back in the NFL. I'm very intrigued to see how this all plays out, how Bill Belichick uses him, if he's going to start week 1, because that's still kind of an uncertainty that's floating in the air. But I'm super excited to see Cam Newton in a Patriots uniform.
I'm excited too. I think this could really work out, or it just doesn't. And then you just go with your plan A all along, which was Stidham.
Right.
And if he doesn't work out, well, you probably sucked, and then you go to the draft and you probably get Trevor Lawrence.
You get Trevor Lawrence, and it's
and
just
then
a
you
full
just don't
circle.
complain at all. And then
Right.
we're stuck in hell for the next 20 years.